Hi, this is Carolina, the Soul Coach. Welcome to my podcast. Hello and welcome to this week's Sunday Catchup podcast. How are you and how has your week been? I hope it's been a good one. I am in Bali, so coming from Bali on this podcast, but what's really, really funny, I need to share something with you because I have recorded this podcast twice, not just once, and forgot to press the record button. But I also recorded the whole thing for a second time, and because I was recording it outside and there's lots of noises, I put my microphone on, except I hadn't realised there was no battery on my microphone, and so it ran out of battery. So this is the third edition of this week's podcast. Fingers crossed this works, because if not, there won't be a podcast this week or it will be late. So I hope you've had a good week. We have Koddy-Wumpled into Bali. We left New Year's Day and we arrived at Bali time Thursday evening at about 5, having travelled, and it wasn't troubled at all, so I'm not quite sure where that came from, but we travelled 17 and a half hours to get here. It was quite a trek, but it actually went really smooth, and I will explain more about that in a minute. So do you remember the word Koddy-Wumple? Love that phrase, isn't it good? 2 words actually. And so it's purposely heading towards an unknown destination, and that's what it feels like here in Bali. Even though we came a couple of years ago, 1996, wasn't that long time ago, was it? It only seems like yesterday. Come on. It was actually 28 years ago, wasn't it? Oh, geez, the time goes by so quick. But yeah, we are definitely Koddy-Wumpling in Bali because we have no idea where we're going, what we're doing. I feel a bit disorganised as well. I don't know why, and I feel a bit disorientated. So what are we, day 3? So maybe it's because of the jet lag. I'm not sure. So 8 hours in front we are. So yeah, it's all topsy-turvy, but I've tried not to think about it too much and been trying to go Balinese time. But I know Will and I have both been struggling a little bit, but we have been getting up at 7 a.m. Bali time every morning. And then Will's been having a sleep in the afternoon. And we've been trying to go to bed about 9 or 10. I haven't slept yet in the afternoon, but I've definitely rested and also feel like I've kind of been making silly mistakes. I'm definitely disorientated, but it will get better, won't it? It will get better. We'll adjust. It's a big change. 8 hours in time difference to our bodies. So mind-wise, prepped, but body-wise is what's going on? And especially because food-wise, I've been really in routine because I fast in the mornings, so don't eat till 1 p.m. So you imagine it's just totally just totally different. Anyway, we'll get over that. And so, where do I want to start? Because we're day 3 today. So let's just back up to New Year's Day, because we were picked up early in the morning. We got to the airport nice and early, and we were quite excited because we were flying with Emirates, and we've never flown with Emirates before. And we'd heard good stories, and yeah, they were good. Have you ever flown Emirates before? They were really good. They were I would say their class was like premium economy of Virgin BA. Really good service, great food. We got a menu, and Will and I had chosen really good seats, and yeah, well happy with them. Really kind and lovely crew, and yeah, loved it. Really loved it. And even though it was a trek of 17 and a half hours, so basically we did 7 hours to Dubai, And then we had about 2 hours in Dubai airport. But to be fair, they were boarding the plane an hour before it was due to take off. So we really didn't have much time. We found a Costa coffee, of course we did, and we shared a coffee because we didn't know what the price of a Costa coffee was in Dubai, and we still don't know. But we shared a coffee, and that was really nice. And we walked around, looked at the shops, wanted to buy a pair of Ray-Bans because they were gorgeous, but didn't, but will at some point. And yeah, and then we were on the plane again, and it was 9 hours, but it was like night time, so watched some films, watched back-to-back films, which is quite unusual for me, but really enjoyed some of the films, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. And then slept for a couple of hours, watched another film, and then fell fast asleep. And so I had 4.5 hours sleep. And yeah, I felt good after that. Will's like a little dormouse. I think he slept on the first plane, then he slept on the second plane, and so it was so great. And then when we got to Bali, we saw Amelia and Freddie. They came to meet us at the airport and had got the taxi ready for us. And of course, me and Mills hugged it out, and I cried, and then she cried, and we were like, oh, but we haven't seen our eldest daughter since the summer. So it was just so nice to connect, and we're really enjoying hanging out. And I have to say, I love Bali. Bali's vibe is really sweet. It's like a nectar about it. It's just very calm. It's they love people in Bali love doing their blessings and their rituals, but it's a much calmer place for that, and the temples seem calmer and everything compared to India. India is like so intense, but Bali just seems a little bit more relaxed. That's our finding so far. But to be honest, we're only day 3, so we got here Thursday night, and obviously got to our villa, had a cup of tea, sort of sorted ourselves out, unpacked, and all the rest of it, and then went to bed because we were really tired and slept like really well, really, really well. And then we got up at 7 in the morning, and we've got a lady at the villa that breakfast is included, so she comes in and cooks us breakfast, and that was really nice on the first morning. And then we were out by 7:45, and Amelia had got us an itinerary, and we went to it's called Sweet Orange Grove, and it's where you kind of walk down um, in between like rice paddies and things. And what I really love about that was that there's this thing where they're trying to pave it, and they'd carved in the pavement, like everyone could write a message. You pay obviously, and you write a message in the concrete, and then they use that as a pass. So that was really nice reading some of the messages, and it was just nice to get a feel for Bali while we were walking along. And the countryside is just beautiful, and it's just nice to get some fresh air and do some exercise, because obviously the day before, having travelled, you always like to go out in nature. But we got a really good feel for the first day. But I just want to back up a little bit, because there was a film that I watched that I really enjoyed on the plane. I wish I could remember what it was called, but I can't. But the gist of it was that there was a guy, and he had a family, and his wife had to go, left him to go into rehab, and he was left to look after the children, and he'd got an older daughter. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But he had an art gallery, and throughout the film, it was about how he had not been connecting with his children, and he had this art gallery, and then he had to make the difficult decision of shutting the art gallery down. But it was like the making of him by shutting this art gallery down, and he found himself. And at his like end speech, at his closing down party of this art gallery, he said this thing, and this is what I want to share with you, because I kept rewinding it to write it down to share it with you, because I found it really interesting and very inspiring. So what he said was that Buddhists say, in the end, only 3 things are important: One is how gracefully you let go of things that weren't meant for you. How gracefully you let go of things that weren't meant for you. And for me, I found this really interesting that the Buddhists should say that this is one of the three things that are important. Because how often do we hold on to things for fear of change? But if we remember that Koddy phrase, that, you know, it's we're purposely heading towards an unknown destination. And isn't that true? Because we don't know where we're heading, and even the things that we think will give us that certainty and give us that security, everything comes to an end, everything changes, that energy flows, energy changes. So how gracefully you let go of the things that were meant for you. And I really find that interesting going into 2025, that there may be some things that I'm holding on to that may be a time for us to let go of, and that it's okay, and to trust and to do it with grace. I found that very inspiring. Second thing was how much you loved. And that just brought about thoughts for me of how self-critical I can be, and how much maybe that I'm not loving myself. And I thought, as going into 2025, I'm definitely going to be kinder to myself. And also, it also reminded me of how we show love, and how we all have those ways that we like to receive love, our love language, and how we like to receive love, and how we like to give love, and that will be all different for different people. So some people might like just physical presence of someone, so like just their attention. Some people like presents, like literally gifts. Some people like to receive gifts, some people like to give gifts, some people just like to be hugged or touched, and they feel the love that way. And so I just find that these love strategies are really interesting, and I never really heard of them until a few years ago. But I think it's just working out what our own love strategy is, and what other people's love strategies are. And definitely, I think comes from childhood for me. I definitely enjoy being given a spontaneous gift, and it doesn't have to be a painful gift, but just a thoughtful gift or a note. And I love giving thoughtful notes and gifts, and I show and express my love through that as well. And also, um, it's just also I recognize that spending time with Will is wonderful, and holding hands, we express love that way, and also just spending time that's not distracted. And I know Will likes love that way too. Definitely. And I know that's on my hit list as well for 2025, is to be more present and more mindful around that. But it's difficult because we like playing games, we like playing cards, but don't often do that. So we need to do that. But I think the most important thing that I found about that was about being kinder to myself, definitely, and looking at areas of where maybe I can be kind to others too. So, yeah, we're going to just put that in the pot for the manifestation challenge. And just as a side, I hope you are enjoying that manifestation challenge. It's definitely a challenge doing all the videos. It's definitely doing a challenge for the third time of a podcast, when you think, have I said that before or haven't I? But no, I hope you are enjoying that challenge, that manifestation challenge. It's been received really well. I'm having really good positive feedback about it, and it's great fun doing it and planning it. And of course, Amelia and Bex, who has been helping me kind of get things in order. It's great to have a great team, and also Alistair, who, as we all know, is our tech guy, so he's been helping with all of that. But I hope you've been realizing some manifestations as well, or just having some revelations. But we've got a whole month of January to continue with this manifestation challenge. So coming back to what the Buddhists say about the three important things, the other one, which is really, Will and I have been talking about this ever since, and it's how gently you have lived. And I just love that word, that gentleness, because very often I don't feel very gentle, because I'm like rushing from one thing to another. And when I come away, I just think I can't continue at this pace. I literally can't, because it's just been one rush, and my life has just, yeah, I have those moments of where I'm not rushing, but they're very far and few between. I need to take it down a peg or two, so I need to create some changes around that. I haven't created my manifestations yet, even though I'm doing the manifestation challenge, but it's also helping me think about what I want to manifestation. And I just feel I'm getting all those bits of jigsaw puzzles together, that bit of jigsaw, yeah, the bits of the puzzles, getting it together for the jigsaw puzzle of what I want to manifest for 2025. And sometimes I don't think we can rush it. And also, I think it's about what we're feeling as well. How do we want to feel? And definitely want to feel more gentler, more kinder, more loving, and I just and to gracefully let go of things. So yeah, that was a very poignant film to watch, and also for manifestation for the 2025. So I am going to share my manifestations for 2025 with you on this manifestation challenge that you can find on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. Every day I'm posting out, so you can catch up with it as well. So I really hope you find it useful. And then the other thing that I listened to was a podcast on the plane, but I only listened to the first 3 chapters of this one. And it was called The Effortless Life, and just about living life effortlessly, because doesn't it feel sometimes like pushing uphill? And I know that when we do feel like we're pushing a boulder uphill, I know that it's time just to let that boulder go back down the hill and to stop pushing hard. And he says that to lead an effortless life. Now, his name is Leo Babuta, probably pronounced a bit better than that, but he says about what's necessary and what's invented, and he says to live life with what's necessary, and to let go of what's invented. So what he calls as necessary, we would all agree with this, is food, shelter, clothes, and relationships. And he says to let go of everything else. And if it makes our life difficult, let it go. Comes back to that Buddhist theory again. If something is making our life difficult, let it go. And if we want to lead an effortless life, is to more focus on the food, shelter, clothes, and relationships, coming back to our conscious selves, and then getting into inspired action. And that it's that inspired action that's critical. And there is I think I've done a blog on that. I've done so much blogs and YouTube videos. I can't remember where I've talked about that, but I will talk about that in the challenge for January. And it's about allowing, when we connect back within, we get that wisdom, we get that inspiration, and that's where we can get that. That's where we can get that inspired action from. And so sometimes it might be that we don't do anything because we don't feel inspired to go into action. And it's okay to be in that, because often we think we're like lazy, we should be pushing forward, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. But if we don't feel like it's coming from an inner guidance, then it can then feel like we're efforting. So it's just about leading an effortless life. So anyway, yeah, it's gonna see what happens with that. And I quite like the idea of an effortless life, but I need to think about what that's gonna look like, because it's gonna be interesting. So coming back to what we've done, so day one we did that like little trail. We walked around Ubud. We had a great lunch. We had great coffee, and then we chilled in the evening, and we got pizza, which was really nice. And then day two, what did we do? Day one we arrived. Day two we did that. So day two we went to the wholesalers. Of course we did. Hit the ground running, and we found some great wholesalers in Ubud. Yeah, I'm really excited about it because we found some wonderful things for the shop. We just need to work out how we can get them home because they're amazing. Beautiful ornaments and great jewellery, which we can bring back with us. But there was some awesome stuff, and we just need to work out because it's a completely different way of shipping over there. They do it overseas in a container, and yeah, I'm a bit scared about doing that, but I'm gonna look at how we do that effortlessly and allow the magic to find the right contacts. So I'll keep you updated on the podcast of how that goes next week, how that magic unfolds. But yeah, there's some great items here, some really lovely things for the shop. So that was yesterday, and then we had Christmas last night with Amelia and Freddie because obviously we haven't had Christmas, and that was really nice. Maddie, the housekeeper from this villa that we're at, she came and cooked us a very simple Balinese meal, and it was really nice. And we put crackers and Christmas serviettes on the table, and we'd bought out Amelia's little stocking, so Father Christmas had come, and we bought that and a little sack for Freddie. So yeah, that was really, really nice, and we exchanged gifts. So that was nice to do that. And then today, Amelia and I, well, no, all of us, all four of us, we went to a temple, and we really enjoyed seeing an ancient temple. It was very, very, very old, and we saw these contemplation caves, which were amazing. And yeah, they were really cool. I've got some pictures and they'll be on Instagram. So yeah, they were amazing. And we saw those, and we saw the old temples, and then we went to a water temple where they do water blessings. We were tempted to have one, but we would needed to have stripped off, put a sarong on, and then go in these pools, which looked amazing, but we decided we wouldn't do that. But I felt blessed enough as it was. But it was amazing. If you haven't been to Bali, it's definitely one to consider and to look into because it's really beautiful, and it's so lush because we're in rainy season at the minute, and it's so green and it's really jungle-like. It's like Jungle Book, and Will and I remember that from the last time we came to Bali of how jungly it is. It's just it's just really, really lush, especially in rainy season. And the heavens opened last night. The rain was so heavy. And then after that, we went to Pyramids of Chi, which is like a healing center, and absolutely beautiful. And they have these great big pyramids. And there must have been we went for a sound bath, Amelia and I, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. And there must have been about 50 people from all around the world in this healing tent, because the guy that was leading it asked everybody from where they're from, and there's 3 people, including Amelia and I, 4 people from England, and then the rest were from everywhere: America, Australia, Brazil, Ukraine, Russia, everywhere, just all over. And so yeah, that was interesting, and it was amazing. This guy's voice, he sang, and it was just like coming home, and it was just beautiful. And the gongs and the sounds that he made, I watched him for a little bit because I was just mesmerized by what he was doing, and it was incredible. And if you come to Ubud, I definitely recommend it, going for a sound bowl or sound bath healing session. It was great. It was really great. And what this couple have built, it's amazing. Thousands of people come and visit it, and they had a great coffee shop, of course they did. And afterwards we got a lovely coffee and we had a bit of lunch, and it was really nice. But what I found in this sound bowl healing ceremony was felt real coming home feeling, and it was incredible. It really was, and that's another feeling that I want to keep manifesting this year, because I know you'll probably know this, that we can feel that connection, can't we? We can feel that connection within and can feel that bliss and that joy and that happiness. But then when we go back into our busy worlds, we lose that connection. So for 2025, I definitely want to connect more. And I know the gaps are getting shorter, so I'm feeling more connected, but I want to kind of go back to that connection back within. So I think that's you kind of like fully caught up now with our trip in Bali. We're going out tonight for some food and some drinks, and that'll be nice. And then tomorrow, me and Mills have got 4.5 hour Kuan Yin compassion healing retreat. So we're very excited about that, to have some downtime. I think Will is going to do some work, and Freddie's got some work as well. So yeah, and then we're going to go for a walk through a jungle, I think. Yeah, so that's the afternoon. So it's all good fun. Hope you've had a good week, and let's just take a moment. Let's take that breath. Breathing in kindness, compassion, gentleness. All is well in this moment. Take good care of yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. You can follow me on YouTube if you want to see what else I'm putting out there. Meditations, videos, manifestation challenge. Please follow me. Thank you. Have a great week, and look forward to catching up with you next Sunday. And I am catching up with you every single day during this manifestation challenge and bringing it to you from Bali. Thank you for listening. Bye.